Calling to order the January 10th regular school board meeting. If you could rise for a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Changes, amendments, additions, deletions
I'd like to pull 8.10.
for discussion?
Discussion.
Okay. Any others? Okay, seeing none, we are at approval of minutes. Superintendent?
I recommend approval of the minutes from the school board workshop November 29th, 2021, and the regular school board meeting December 13th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope. All right, we are at our public input. We have 2 cards tonight. We'll have Kim Cronin.
Good evening, Superintendent and board members. Start off and say Happy New Year. Not sure, I always ask you to look at job openings. Today we had 118 non-instructional positions posted. That does not include bus drivers or bus monitors. Out of those positions, there was 24 custodial positions and 56 teacher assistant positions. You've got a head custodian position advertised right now. Starting pay for that job is $10.48. But if they have 9 years of experience, they can go all the way up to $12.99. So, our pay is not bringing in the employees. They have better opportunities. So we have to look at something because our workers are leaving. They're getting tired. They can't continue to work like this. A lot of our teacher assistants are covering for teacher positions. So if you've got 56 openings and then others that are covering for teacher positions, they're doing what they can to help. We know this is what they're doing, what we're dealing with, but we've got to do something because $10 an hour is not bringing in the people that are interested in working here. Thank you.
Thank you. Kathy Smith, LCEA.
Good evening, everyone. Say the same thing, Happy New Year. Hope your holiday was wonderful. Spent time with family and friends. Just wanted to talk about, FEA is tracking now almost 200 educational bills in legislative session. One of them starts tomorrow, Senate Bill 1048. They're going to review it in the Education Committee, and it is called the testing bill. We had heard that, we were hoping and hearing that things were going to be a little bit better with the testing situation, but this bill, as it is written right now, does not reduce tests at all, and it does not eliminate the end of the year large test that there is. So unfortunately, right now, the way it's written, doesn't really seem like it's going to be any different than what we had in the past. So you may want to contact some legislators and see if we can work around and get some things updated and changed, hopefully. Other item, unfortunately, we're seeing some of the uprising with everybody else with the COVID numbers, which are getting alarming in some places for the many educators, staff, students. They're all being affected, of course. We want to thank and appreciate the district staff and leadership who have been stepping into some places to help alleviate some of the burden, because teachers and staff and everybody are overworked and overwhelmed, and the way it seems, it may get even harder in the next few weeks with the COVID numbers raising. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith. Okay, we are on our education reports. We have a visitor.
We do. We have Ms. Casey Edmondson. She's filling in for Carmen this evening. So welcome, Casey.
Hi, good evening. Yeah, Carmen sends her apologies. She could not be here today. So good evening, Chairman, board members, and Superintendent. My name is Casey Edmondson. I'm the Development Director for the Education Foundation, and I'll be standing in for Carmen this evening. To date, we've had 566 teachers visit our Apple Mart stores that has distributed $42,450 worth of school supplies. We have secured an endowment for Lake Tech scholarships in the amount of $30,000 from Dr. William Zeller. Our platform that has our 15 scholarships for the class of 2022 opened January 3rd and it closes March 25th. We'll be awarding over $75,000 worth of scholarships in April. Our Take Stock in Children scholarship application platform is also open right now, will remain open until February 1st for 9th grade students who are eligible to apply for this college scholarship program and mentoring program. We've received 2 grants in the amount of $5,000 each. One was from the Jack Arlene Foundation. That one's for ACT Reading Prep Program. And then the Hunter Foundation is for our high school high-tech program at Eastridge High School. Last Wednesday, we got to surprise 4 finalists for Teacher of the Year. Danielle Newton from Leesburg Elementary, Patrick Kelly from Leesburg High, Courtney Stokes from Tavares High, and Jessica Woods from Windy Hill Middle School were tapped as the Teacher of the Year finalists. The event, which is presented by Duke Energy, Jenkins Auto Group, and Ernie Morris Enterprises, will be held at the Venetian Center on February 3rd. The winner that night will be leaving in the event in a 2021 Nissan Rogue courtesy of Jenkins Auto Group. February is a busy month for us. In addition to Teacher of the Year, our Take Stock in Children program participates in a chili cook-off on February 5th. The Foundation's countywide robotics scrimmage is on February 12th. The Take Stock in Children corporate spelling bee is on February 15th. And our Scott Strong Clay Shoot is on February 25th. There are only 3 teams left until we sell out for that event. Most excitedly, we do have a new family member over at the Foundation. So we added a baby girl, Penelope Page Castellano, was welcomed to Amber and her husband Tony on December 14th. The exec meets on January 19th, and we're planning an in-person board meeting on January 26th at the district office at noon. Any questions for the Foundation?
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
I don't need
Oh, all right. Consent agenda. Superintendent?
I recommend approval of consent agenda items 8.01 to 8.09 and 8.11 to 10.08.
So moved.
Did we pull 8.01?
8.1.
Did I skip 8.10? I skipped, I circled 8.01. I was like, wait, okay, perfect. So moved.
So
We have
moved.
a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so 8.10, sorry.
Okay.
Mr. Perez.
So I've asked Mr. Carr if he's available to come forward.
Oh, here he comes.
Yeah. We've got a guaranteed maximum price on the Aurelia coal of $42,793,898.66, which is up, we built the same identical basic school with the exception of the auditorium for about $36 million. So we have this increase, and I will tell you that that prices in my industry, which affect construction of restaurants, et cetera, have gone goofy. So this is a great job. But as I was speaking to Mr. Carr, and also I spoke with Warden Smith, that in my company, we've done something a little bit innovative, which is when you have a price of materials, and you're quoted this number, and you're making 4.5%, which is what I think we're paid. You're correct. The fact that those materials double, you've done no more effort for that same dollar, and yet your percentage moves up, right? Because the 4.5 follows. And that I would like to see us negotiating what is now part of my best practice and some other contractors, which is locking in the profit dollar amount, which is a different conversation, locking the dollar amount in, and then we deal with the deviation of these prices. Because until, industry experts are saying until 2024, this is not going to stabilize, and we've got another school coming right behind it, which is the Hills of Mineola. So I think that if we work together, and Warden Smith have been really good partners with the district, but that's what I'd like, if
Yes,
you
sir.
think it's appropriate.
I do think that's exactly appropriate. I do, sir.
Okay. So that was it.
So that was just discussion for future? That wasn't necessarily
Well,
decided, or-
it's setting, so when I spoke to, what's his name, Tom?
Tom Leitner.
Right. They've got to set a number, but I think that we've got some room to negotiate. So we're going to set this number, but then there's a time to have a discussion. No, of what it looks like moving forward towards this. This legally, he said to me, is binding, so he can't be as flexible as in the private industry. So if this is the magic number, but let's have a serious conversation about what does that percent of their 4.5 that they get, which is profit, what does that look like? Because there's a difference between what used to be 4.5 and what is now 4.5 based on materials doubling. And you've done no more effort,
Oh, 4% of $6 million is quite
right?
a chunk of change.
Yeah, so,
I guess my question is, will that impact this? Or you're-
no.
it'll-
This is,
it'll-
we're going to vote for this, for sure. But then how do we move forward?
It's a negotiation.
Got it.
That is
Bingo.
correct. It's in constant negotiation, especially as we deal with, final prices coming in. We always have the opportunity to amend and adjust. I've had a conversation with Mr. Widener. He's open to having future conversations about it. That's as much as I'd be willing to say at this time.
Great. All right, great idea.
That's
Very
it. Okay?
All right.
Thank you. And with that, I recommend approval of item 8.10, construction management services for William Cole Academy.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? No, seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect. Okay. We are on our superintendent report.
Well, good evening and Happy New Year to everyone. So the new year certainly has started off interesting with a new variant, and as everyone is dealing with across the world, our COVID numbers have gone up, and we knew that based on the models that have been coming out of UF, who's kind of been one of the leading authorities and running the models since COVID began. They have indicated, and I've had numerous conversations with our health department, that the peak is expected this week, so we will see numbers continuing to rise. As Ms. Smith said, we've got staff moving in from the district level to cover up any vacancies that are out in schools and make sure that the needs of our kids are being met. And we know that there was a couple hundred kids out positive today, as well as some staff as well. So we'll continue to provide any resources we can for those at home. I think the board's aware, highlighted on Super Sunday, that we were very fortunate that our health department was able to get a jump on those at-home rapid test kits that are very hard to come by, and that we're daily sending those out to schools to send home. And so I really am grateful for the health department for all of their work to make those happen in our schools. I know that's been a tremendous resource for our parents and as well as for our staff. One of the things that, if you'll recall, is that back in November, actually it was September, when we met regarding our protocols for COVID, that preceded the passing of the House bill and Senate bill that prohibited any type of mandate, which would include an opt-out for parents. So we've had to amend the district safety protocols basically to remove the portion of those protocols that would have required that parents would have had to have an opt-out if a school was in red. So last week we had 5 schools that were in yellow. And so the protocols now was more used as a communication tool to say that when your number of students or your percentage of students and staff that are tested positive exceeds that 5%, we're going to notify the parents, make sure that they're aware that they're at 5%, and as well as at yellow. So last week, all the schools did a call out this weekend, or today, I think one went out today, of a school that was just identified as yellow, just reminding parents, take extra precautions, knowing that our protocols are in place. We did in the call out remind them that masks are optional, but we encourage them if that is their choice. So we did send that out, those call outs. So I have amended copies of those safety protocols. We'll be posting these online, but basically there's a lot of strike-throughs that took out the things that are now prohibited in law. And so I'll make sure that the board has a copy of that, but I wanted to make sure the public was aware that we have amended those as well. So I imagine this week we may have some schools that go into red for the first time, and we'll make sure that all of the parents and staff are notified accordingly based on those protocols. I also want to congratulate our Teacher of the Year finalists. Casey's already named them for us. So that is one of my favorite days of the year, is being able to go out and recognize our amazing teachers, and it's always such a fun time, and I want to, we just look forward to February 3rd and finding out who the finalist is. Also, as we welcome in the new year, we got our final graduation rates, and once again, for 2 years, we're above that 90% mark, and school's just continuing to do amazing things for kids, getting them across the stage in very challenging times. I'm really grateful to all of the work happening in our high schools to make sure that that's a reality for more and more kids every year. I wanted to make sure the board also was aware that I know one of your priorities, as we talked about ESSER funding and other things a while back, was really to look at all of our middle and high school science labs. They've had a lot of equipment that has broken. There's a lot of equipment that they've been in high need of for a long time. So our science specialist did a great job getting some input from some of our teachers before the holidays, put together a supply and equipment list that has gone out. So all of those teachers now in those classes are asked to assess their labs. They have a whole list, an inventory list. They'll provide that back to us, and we'll make sure that all those orders are made and that all of our science labs moving forward, just as soon as we get those back and get those orders done, we'll be fully equipped and have the latest equipment and updated, and the Education Foundation hopefully is going to help us with that project as well. They are such great partners in all that we do. I want to remind everyone that we are closed on Monday, January 17th, in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and a reminder to the board that a workshop is scheduled for January 31st at our regular time of 9:30. The items on that agenda are the board had asked for a plan for our ACE and IB programs, what that look like, and so that's going to be presented that day. We'll have an audit or two for Mr. Mock, I'm not sure, one audit for Mr. Mock. We will also have our Superintendent Student Advisory Council. Those students will be coming. They have a proposal to the board about dress code. They are meeting with the principals prior to that to go over what their recommendations are, and they have spent a lot of great time getting input from other students, and so I look forward to them coming and providing that proposal to you. The other thing on that agenda is, as was discussed in a previous meeting, we have consultants through the Superintendent's Association that has reviewed all of our human resources screening processes and procedures, and they have some recommendations, and they'll be bringing those to the board and joining us on that day, so we'll probably start the day with them. We have one more workshop that we are requesting, and that is on February the 7th, and that was to start the process for upcoming math adoption. So if we can check your calendars for those dates, again, it was January the 31st, and then again on February the 7th for the math adoption. And that is all I had tonight.
That's a lot.
It was
to
a lot.
celebrate in there.
I know, lots of good
Exciting.
stuff.
And Dr. Burns, do you want to start tonight with comments, board member comments?
I just wanted to say thank you for working on developing the list for the science departments. I really think that the teachers and the students especially will very much enjoy being able to do more and more science experiments and actual hands-on science, which is how science is taught best. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Thanks, Dr. Burns. Mr. Matthias?
I'm good.
Okay. Ms. Cunningham?
Just want to say Happy New Year to everyone and just express how much I'm looking forward to us working this second semester to try and come up with some, try and come up with some things that are going to make things better for our employees. Just know that we hear you and we're working on it. Thank you.
I'd also like to echo the kudos on the science lab. You know, it can only be hands-on if the kids have materials to work with, so that's fantastic. I also want to throw my congratulations out to the Teacher of the Year finalists. It's always a priceless experience, I think, when the superintendent starts walking into the classroom and is like, I'm just here for a learning walk, you know, and the teacher knows, okay, something's up here. and then, you know, the look on their face when they just realize that they've been recognized with such a great honor is, it's an incredible experience, and so one of my favorite things to do as well. Wednesday night, if you're bored, between the hours of 5:30 and 7:30, you should stop by the Citrus Tower, where Commissioner Sean Parks and I will be holding our coffee and conversations. We love to have individual conversations with folks. If you've got questions on your mind or comments, love to hear them. So Citrus Tower, Wednesday the 12th, 5:30 to 7:30, and then just maybe a question for an update. I know that folks trying to access the website have been getting an inconsistent experience from this outside company. You know, it works now, 5 minutes later it doesn't, works again. I was just wondering, just if that's been fixed, if we know the status on all that, to anybody trying to access.
Yes.
You want to come up? Yep.
So you are correct. Final Site, who is our vendor, basically had an issue. It affected close, I think, about 60 to 70 school districts or so. So it was a pretty severe outage. The outage was unexpected. At first, we didn't get very much information from them for the first few hours, but it became apparent it was on their side. And one of the things that's always a little bit tricky when you're going with a hosted solution is when something like that breaks, it's on them to fix it. It's kind of the curse and the good part. It's because it wasn't anything we could do. However, we didn't break it, and not being able to fix it did make us feel a little bit helpless. I would point the public to something that we try to do, and we try to do it through multiple ways. Now, the website going down is a little bit of a trick because it's actually located there, but anytime an application goes down, we have an application dashboard, which basically gives the status. So anytime we have an outage, we go ahead and report it there. The website generally, if you refreshed a couple times, would come back up. But generally, I haven't seen an outage like this from the vendor ever, to be honest with you, in the 3 years we've had it. So it was kind of a little bit of a weird thing. It's mostly been fixed. The only thing that they're working on is the editor. It's still got a couple of issues, and that's supposed to be fixed by 7 o'clock tonight.
Okay, well, that's great news. And your dashboard, by the way, is loved, I think, by many. Even my kids know exactly where to go and say, no, look, I can't do this because that's
We
down.
learned a long time ago, the second you send an email out, something's fixed, it breaks again.
Yeah.
So-
Hopefully by 7 o'clock then, we'll see the whole
Exactly. So-
website. All right, thanks for the update, appreciate it.
Is that all?
That's it?
All right, thank you, Mr. Rock. Superintendent, did you?
Yeah, I neglected to share with you the letters of condolence that were sent, so I just wanted to bring those to your attention. Flo Frana is the mother of Joe Frana, the assistant principal at Cypress Ridge Elementary, and mother-in-law to Missy Frana, principal at Gray Middle School. So condolences to them in the loss of Flo Frana. Also, Robert Wynn is the stepfather of Lainey Abondo, director of professional learning, curriculum instruction, and assessment. Condolences to her family. Lester Cole was the husband of Doretha Cole, a retired administrator with the district. So condolences to Doretha and her family. And also Vaughn Brown is a retired bus driver and sister of Julie Botor, the route manager for the transportation department. So condolences to that family as well.
I just wanted to extend my thanks to Linda Milliken, the supervisor of food services. She hosted a food tasting towards the end of the semester last year. It was last year now, but it was very well put on. The food was delicious. I took my kids because they're the ones that have to eat it every day. And actually, they very much enjoyed themselves. They enjoyed the production of it, and we discussed the food, and I had lots of really good questions that were actually answered as well. One of the things that they mentioned, everything's controlled federally in our food service department, and that they're contemplating the amount of sodium that are in our ketchup packets. So they're considering taking away the ketchup packets. And so I said, we will get on board with advocating for those ketchup packets. My son used them today, he told me. So
We will storm the courthouse.
We will storm the courthouse, the federal courthouse. Anyway, I just wanted to thank her because they put out an exceptional spread for us and the vendors that were there that participated as well. And it was a good time, and it was educational as well. So I did attend the Central Florida School Board Association meeting today, and they spoke about the bills. I think it was Dr. Burns that referenced the number of education bills that are coming through right now, and session doesn't actually start until tomorrow. Just to keep an eye on some of them. Osceola had an amazing website where they literally outlined every single bill that was in conjunction with education. And so I'm going to ask Natalie to share it with you guys so that you can become educated. There was something that was mentioned that was pretty concerning by one of the superintendents, the area superintendents, and she just said that you can tell that elections are coming this year and that our local delegates are very much in self-preservation mode, and so that we do need to be worried this season. There's a lot of things that are coming forward that are radical, and that actually the way that another person put it was, could the board members who are also elected positions maybe call, because we're in similar positions as them, and just say, can we really think about unintended consequences that we're doing, especially to local control. So there was a lot of things in there that would negate local control. I will tell you one of them, and I have it written down, so I'll share it with Natalie, but one of the biggest concerning ones was they're talking about making our concurrency. So right now, if somebody wants to put a school in Claremont, they have to go to the city in Claremont to see the concurrency and have a discussion about how we can mitigate those seats that aren't there. They're talking about making that district level. So if we have seats in Umatilla, then the builder in Claremont could build.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. So that was just an example that they put out there for us, and they said there's so many out there that are flying right now, that a lot of them won't come to fruition, but that several of them will. And so they asked that we would be a little bit more on top of it this session, so I wanted to, I don't know, I felt like compelled to share that with you. To what good and end it will do, I'm not sure, but I definitely think we need to be involved this session, so. On that note, congratulations to the Teacher of the Year. I hate missing those. I was out of town this year, but they are super fun, and we are excited about February 3rd. Congratulations on the graduation rate. I think that when we speak about public transparency, that's a number that everybody understands, and it's amazing the work that is continuing to be done. So lots to be celebrated. Thank you all for the work that you're doing in the schools, and thanks to the students and the parents and the principal. Everybody's doing it. They're doing it. The number speaks for itself. They're doing a fantastic job. And go Knights.
Go Gators.